All right, so today we are looking at the microphone that pretty much every YouTuber and podcaster on the planet uses, the Shure SM7B. This thing was originally released way back in 1973, which is crazy to think about. But here we are in 2026. Does an old school dynamic microphone still hold up when everything else is going digital and crazy AI audio tools are taking over? So today, I'm going to break down exactly what it's like using this legendary piece of gear right now, what kind of interface you actually need to run it, and if you should still be dropping your hard-earned cash on one of these. Let's get into it. Why am I reviewing a microphone that's over 50 years old? Well, if you look around YouTube, Twitch, or literally any video podcast, this mic is everywhere. It is still the gold standard. It is the aesthetic. Let's be real for a second. Half the reason people buy this thing is because it's a massive status symbol that just looks so professional and good on camera. When people see that chunky, sleek, matte black finish, that metal cylinder on a boom arm, it automatically communicates a level of authority and sound quality. But this review is for the creators out there who are wondering if they actually need it, because the audio landscape in 2026 is wild. We are constantly being told to upgrade, to buy the newest shiny USB mic, or to just rely on software. If you are a streamer, a voiceover artist, or a podcaster trying to figure out how to get that super deep, classic radio broadcast tone without totally messing up your audio setup, you're probably looking at the SM7B. But owning this mic means learning a little bit of audio engineering. It's not just plug and play. So we need to talk about the actual experience of running this as a daily driver and whether or not it makes sense for your room and your voice. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the physical microphone itself. As far as the build quality goes, Shure has basically set the gold standard for what to expect out of a broadcast microphone. It has an all-metal construction, it's got a really nice amount of weight to it, and it's just practically indestructible. You can probably use this thing as a hammer, though I really don't recommend it. Now on the back of the microphone, you're going to find two switches, one for a bass roll-off or low-cut filter, and another for a mid-boost, which is also known as a presence boost. A lot of people just leave it on flat mode, but depending on your voice, those switches can be lifesavers to adjust the tone. It already has the mounting bracket, the yoke, it's already attached directly to it, so you connect this straight to your boom arm. And some people ask about a shock mount, but you really don't need one because it has an internal air suspension shock isolation system, and that means you don't need to buy a clunky external shock mount to stop it from picking up every single time you accidentally bump your desk. Spec-wise, this is a dynamic microphone with a cardioid polar pattern, as a frequency response of 50 Hz to 20 kHz, and a sensitivity of negative 59 decibels, and that is extremely quiet. And that low sensitivity is both the SM7B's greatest superpower and its biggest annoyance, which leads me to my next point. A lot of people end up picking one of these up. They plug it in and they start wondering, hey, why doesn't this sound like Joe Rogan or my favorite YouTuber? Well, out of the box, the SM7B has a very dark, very smooth, and very bassy sound. It's very forgiving, but it can sound like a mouthful of mud if you have a naturally dark voice and you don't know how to use an EQ. You normally got to do some processing, a little bit of EQ, and a little bit of compression to really get the Shure SM7B sounding bright and punchy on a lot of people's voices. But the reason it sounds the way it does is because of the proximity effect. You are meant to speak directly into this microphone about 2 to 3 inches away from the grill. And when you get right up on it, it gives you that massive, resonant voice of God radio tone that we all know and love. And because you have to be so close to it, and because the internal dynamic moving coil is so heavy, it is incredible at rejecting background noise. If you are recording in an untreated bedroom with hardwood floors, a loud computer fan, and a noisy mechanical keyboard, a sensitive condenser microphone is going to pick all of that nasty room echo. The SM7B, it practically ignores it all. It rejects off-access sound beautifully. It isolates your voice so cleanly that it sounds like you're in a professional recording booth, even if you're just sitting in your closet. All right, let's talk about the gain staging paradigm shift of 2026, because this is where things have completely changed. Because the SM7B is so quiet, you have to push a ton of gain to get your voice to a usable level. Historically, This meant the cloud lifter tax. If you bought an SM7B, you basically had to spend another $150 on a cloud lifter CL1, like I have, or a FET to get around 25 decibels of clean gain before the signal hits your audio interface. If you didn't use one with an older cheap interface, you'd have to crank your gain dial to 100%, and it would introduce this awful loud electrical hissing noise that totally just ruined your recording. But here in 2026, the hardware market has aggressively caught up. You really might not need a cloud lifter anymore. Entry-level interfaces have gotten incredibly powerful. For example, the 4th gen Focusrite Scarlett 212 now pushes an impressive 69 decibels of clean gain. And that is more than enough to drive the SM7B natively without a booster. And if you want to step it up to the premium level, the Rodecaster Pro 2 is strong enough to push this microphone easily, and that's exactly what you are hearing right now. So the total cost of owning this microphone has actually come down because you can just plug it in directly into a modern, somewhat affordable interface. All right, now we have to talk about the elephant in the room: computational audio and artificial intelligence. In 2026, software is doing absolutely crazy things to audio. So we have AI noise reduction protocols running locally on our machines with practically zero latency, like Adobe Enhanced Speech version 2.0, that can reconstruct missing frequencies from a cheap $50 microphone and make it sound like it was recorded in $1 million studio. And there are even AI plugins now like Magic.Ride that literally listen to your musical phrasing and automatically ride your volume fader in real time. So you don't even have to compress your audio manually. The big debate right now is, if software can make a cheap microphone sound this good, why spend $400 on the SM7B? Here's my take on it. Software is amazing, but it is fundamentally a band-aid. Heavy algorithmic processing can still unpredictably smear the transients of your voice or mess with the phase relationship. So the SM7B solves your acoustic problems in the physical, analog realm. It captures an originally rich, phase-coherent vocal fingerprint right at the source. Professional audio engineers will tell you that a perfectly isolated, warm analog signal is always the best starting point. If you want true professional reliability that doesn't rely on a software plugin deciding what is and isn't your voice, the SM7B still wins. Let's say you're shopping around. The market is flooded right now, even just within Shure's own lineup. First, you have the Shure SM7DB, and this is basically the exact same microphone, but Shure physically built a custom preamp directly inside the microphone chassis. It costs around $550, and it solves the gain problem instantly. You just turn on the phantom power, flip a switch on the back, and bam, you get an extra 18 or 28 decibels of incredibly clean gain. If you don't already own a high-end interface, the SM7DB is honestly the smarter, more streamlined purchase today. Then you have the Shure MV7 Plus. This is the SM7B's younger brother. It's a hybrid microphone, meaning it has both an XLR port and a direct USB-C connection. You get most of that classic broadcast sound, but you don't even need an audio interface. Plus, it has a customizable LED touch panel and built-in DSP for real-time denoising and a digital pop filter. And for most content creators and streamers just starting out, this is probably the most practical choice. Shure also recently dropped the MV6 for around $149. It's a strictly USB-C mic aimed right at gamers and streamers, featuring crazy stuff like voice isolation technology and an auto level mode that adjusts your gain based on your distance from the mic in real time. And of course, if you're on a strict budget, there are amazing dynamic mics like the Fifine AM8 or the Rode PodMic USB that you can pick up for a lot cheaper. And with a little EQ, your YouTube audience will probably never even know the difference. So when it comes down to it, do I recommend the Shure SM7B in 2026? Yes, 100%. But I don't think it's for everybody. If you want maximum convenience, extreme mobility, or if you're on a tight budget, you should absolutely be looking at the MV7 Plus, the Lewitt Ray, or just grabbing a cheaper dynamic mic. You don't have to spend $400 to sound good anymore. But if you are creating a permanent studio space, if you want raw analog signal purity, and if you want a vocal tone that has been culturally proven across decades of commercial broadcasting, this is it. It's built like a tank. It will last you decades. And yes, it just looks undeniably awesome on camera. Once you learn how to dial in a little bit of the EQ and the compression, this microphone is magic. It's my daily driver. It's going to continue to be my daily driver, and I absolutely will always love this microphone. All right, guys, I guess that'll do it for today. If you found this deep dive fun, interesting, or helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what microphone you are currently using in your setup, and if you think AI audio is going to take over. If you want to check out the SM7B or any of the gear that I mentioned, I've left affiliate links down in the description for you. If you want more videos just like this, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with the latest videos. Finally, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.